Welcome to Eastern Brush, Western Seoul. This is a quiet corner of the internet where we explore traditional East Asian ink painting, ancient texts, and the visual culture that grew out of centuries of slow looking and careful observation. Our channel is not driven by trends or algorithms, but by a shared love for this art form, and by a small group of friends who wanted to stay connected through a common passion, even after life placed us in different cities. Today, we turn our attention to a refined Qing Dynasty album, the Album of Harmonized Seasons, painted by Qian Weicheng. This complete work consists of 2 volumes, upper and lower, each containing 12 leaves, for a total of 24 paintings. Using the Boneless Mogu technique combined with broken branch composition, Qian Weicheng depicts the flowers of the 4 seasons, 6 for each season. The album includes plum blossom, apricot, crapple, pear blossom, peony, rose, daylily, pomegranate flower, cotton rose mallow osmanthus, Chinese rose, narcissus, wintersweet, and more. 24 varieties in total. Each leaf is accompanied by an imperial poem written by the Qianlong Emperor, creating a dialogue between image and verse. Today, this album is preserved in the National Palace Museum in Taipei. In Chinese painting, Mogu, or the boneless method, refers to a technique in which forms are not outlined with ink. Instead, shapes emerge directly from washes of color or ink, allowing petals and leaves to feel soft, alive, and breathing. Broken branch painting, on the other hand, does not depict an entire plant. It focuses only on a section of a branch cut from the trunk, a fragment that suggests the whole. This restraint is part of its elegance. Before we begin, we'd also like to share something from our own practice. On this channel, you'll find a playlist called Scholarly Lectures on East Asian Ink Painting. It includes a boneless painting course that we personally purchased with our own money. This channel is not monetized. It exists because a few of us love this art deeply, and sharing a course became a practical way to keep learning together after we could no longer meet in person. Ink painting is a small, quiet interest, but for those who love it, we hope this channel can be a place of calm, a small refuge where you can slow down, look closely, and perhaps find your own corner of peace. Let us now open the Album of Harmonized Seasons and follow the flowers as they move gently through the year. Upper volume, spring to early summer. Plum blossom. We begin with plum blossoms, flowers long praised for their dignity. In the poem, they are compared to scholars of high moral standing, admired yet unwilling to compete for attention. Even when surrounded by countless flowers, the plum refuses to claim leadership. Its strength lies in restraint. Blooming in cold weather, it does not ask to be noticed, and that quiet endurance is precisely why it is remembered. Camellia. Next comes the camellia, standing proudly against harsh winds. The poet tells us that among 100 kinds of flowers, all share the same fate. But when snow presses down, it is this single branch that remains upright. From the cold, a vivid red emerges, like an immortal revealing itself. It is beauty that does not fear winter. Apricot blossom. The apricot blossom may lack the fragrance of plum, the poem admits, but it promises something else in return. Fruit, sweet and abundant. It knows its own worth. Tender new leaves cradle the flowers as if the tree itself understands how to dress its blossoms well. Now we turn to crabapple blossoms, once described in flower manuals with great detail. Their color resembles fading rouge, a beauty already tinged with decline. The poem reminds us, blooming and withering follow the same natural cycle. Among all flowers, who can truly escape this passing? Pear blossom. The pear blossom is light and pale, like clouds cut from greenish-white mist. It refuses deep red or soft pink, choosing purity instead. So bright it rivals moonlight, it almost becomes indistinguishable from plum. Here, the flower dresses itself in plain white, elegant, restrained, and cool. Then comes the peony, blooming just as other flowers begin to fade. Its glory arrives late, but with ceremony and confidence. The poem references moral philosophy, yet cannot deny the peony's association with wealth and rank. Even when discussing virtue, how can one entirely avoid splendor? The catalpa flower is not traditionally listed in flower rankings, yet its white petals and red stamens are quietly striking. Blooming at the edge of spring and summer, it often appears when rain is awaited. A flower that seems to pause, as if watching the sky with a furrowed brow. Rose. In late spring, roses fill the deep courtyards, their soft blossoms glow, their slender branches sway. But the poem offers a warning: do not be fooled by beauty alone. Among laughter and charm, there are thorns, and they, too, deserve notice. Daylily. The daylily shares roots with lilies, though its form is different. Its name, Xuan, is traditionally linked with forgetting sorrow, yet the poem questions this promise. Worries once known are not easily set aside. Even flowers meant to comfort cannot fully erase care. Arrowhead flower, water arrowhead. A single stalk bears 12 clustered fruits, and in leap years, one more appears. Do not be surprised that such order exists in a water plant. From spring's flourishing to autumn's fading, all things follow their course. Pomegranate blossom. The pomegranate blooms without complaint, even if it blooms late. Its fiery red reflects the height of summer, glowing on southern branches. Why does it seem to smile? Perhaps it celebrates abundance, or victory brought by fertile lands. St. John's wort, golden thread flower. We close the volume with golden thread flowers. 5-petaled blooms burst open, trailing fine filaments like silk. Red appears, yet gold reveals itself within. Color and form, the poem suggests, are illusions, fleeting transformations without fixed origin. Late summer to winter. We begin the lower volume with coxcomb amaranth. Though it carries the name chuluo, it appears throughout the year, and calling it an autumn flower is not a mistake. Look closely. As summer heat recedes, its flame-like colors still linger. Light in form, easy in the breeze, it seems made for the turning season. Autumn begonia. Next is autumn begonia. The poem suggests that flowers do not need names or ranks to prove their worth. Spring beauty rarely lasts into autumn, yet this one does. Encountered at the Palace of Eternal Life on the night of Qixi, it carries quiet longing and deep affection, difficult to put into words. Purple sepal flower. Purple yuhua. This flower shares a name with others, yet its color sets it apart. Often mistaken for the white yuhua, it blooms differently. As evening wind passes, it seems almost shy, its fragrance subdued, yielding elegance to its paler counterpart. Blue pea flower, lank flower. Blue, like the mythical Luan bird, red, like the phoenix. Its delicate blossoms wait until autumn to appear. On the night of Qixi, drifting lightly through the Han Palace, it feels like a messenger, perhaps carrying news from the Queen Mother of the West. Cotton rose mallow, wood hibiscus. Growing near islets and streams, wood hibiscus gazes at its own reflection. Its beauty feels gentle, almost sympathetic to the fading gentleman. Plucked from the tip of a wooden branch, it reminds us that not all meaning must be drawn from ancient verses. Sometimes the flower speaks for itself. Osmanthus, who first called these tiny grains flowers? Golden without the need to be sifted from sand, their fragrance feels too pure for the human world. Perhaps their true home lies in the Moon Palace, beyond reach. Coxcomb flower. Here again is coxcomb, named for its form. Like crimson caps gathered high, it stands proudly. Praised and critiqued in equal measure, it resists easy judgment. To truly trust it or understand it is not simple. Monk's hood flower. Its blossoms resemble the rounded cap of a Buddhist monk. When split open, paired wings appear, like twin phoenixes revealed. The poem recalls a moment of sudden awakening, a flower held up, truth shown without words. Water smartweed, water-hung flower. Ripples sway under the movement of fish. Lotus fragrance fades, leaving traces of lonely red. Like crushed coral scattered on a long broom, its remaining beauty is swept gently into the autumn sky. China rose. On its branches, spring blooms through all 4 seasons. Old flowers give way to new, endlessly renewed. Some say it suits only the thin and weary to admire, but how could such constant blooming not also exhaust the spirit? Narcissus. The narcissus refuses borrowed pity. It stands alone by clear water, admiring its reflection. Read the Rhapsody on the Goddess of the Luo, and all other comparisons fall away. Winter Sweet, Lame. Though its color differs from plum, the name they share remains. Sharp winter snow softens into fragrant air. The divine keeper of flowers weighs all things carefully. What begins with this must also end with this. Inscribed by the Qianlong Emperor in the Qing year of Guimao. As the album closes, we see the artist's humble inscription, painted with reverence by your servant, Qian Weicheng. With this quiet signature, the seasons complete their circle, from first bloom to final fragrance and back again. As we come to the end of the Album of Harmonized Seasons, the turning of spring, summer, autumn, and winter settles into quiet balance. Flowers bloom, fade, and return, not in haste, but in order. This album is not merely a record of plants, but a meditation on harmony between nature and time, image and poetry, painter and emperor. The artist behind this work is Qian Weicheng, 1720 to 772. Born in Wujin in today's Changzhou, Jiangsu, he was known by many names throughout his life. First Xinlai-styled Yuan, later Zongpan, then Jiaxuan with the sobriquet Renan, and in his later years, Chashan. Each name marked a different stage of learning and self-cultivation. In the 10th year of the Qianlong reign, Qian Weicheng achieved the highest honor in the civil examinations, becoming Zhuangwan, the top-ranked scholar. He entered the Hanlin Academy and later served in the Southern Study, close to the emperor. Gifted in literature, he became one of the most important court literary officials, or Si-chen, of the Qianlong era. Over the years, he held many posts: Grand Secretariat Academician, Vice Minister of Rights, Works and Justice, and Educational Commissioner of Zhejiang. In painting, he studied deeply, looking back to the four masters of the Yuan dynasty, learning from the four Wangs of the early Qing, and receiving direct guidance from Dong Bangda, which brought him into imperial service as both painter and scholar. After his death, he was granted the posthumous title Wenmin and honored with the rank of Shangshu. Yet despite these distinctions, his inscription at the end of this album remains modest. Painted with reverence by your servant, Qian Weicheng. This humility echoes throughout the work itself. Having walked through this Qing Dynasty album, painted by Qian Weicheng and accompanied by imperial poems written by the Qianlong Emperor, we return to the spirit of this channel, Eastern brush, Western soul. This is a small, quiet interest, but it is precisely because it is small that it has brought together a group of people, many of them in North America, who share the same patience, curiosity, and affection for traditional ink painting. We are grateful for this unexpected companionship, for the encouragement, the watching, and the simple act of slowing down together. Thank you for spending this time with us and for letting these seasons unfold one page at a time.